Hi, my name is Alexandra Peterson, and I'm here today to talk to you about this unique tool called TouchCast, which can be used to improve businesses as well as educational experiences. So as we go through this new educational tool that I do believe will become more popular in classrooms, I want us to consider this essential question, which we will get back to later. So my essential question to you is, how can we use technology to improve student engagement, collaboration, and critical thinking? So let's first introduce what TouchCast actually is. TouchCast is an app that was created in 2013 by three co-founders. That would be Edo Siegel, Eric Schnofeld, and Charlie Miller. And what they were hoping to do was to create a new app that would make recording videos more of an experience and more entertaining than the current technology that was available, such as YouTube or QuickTime. Now this is a free or purchasable video recording app which is only friendly on Apple technology, so that would be iPads, iPhones, and Apple laptops. We do have a lot of unique features which we will go over later that makes this app worth trying. And one of the things that you can get as a product from this company, if you are planning on making a plethora of videos, are called recording packets. Now these can be purchased, and what they are additional materials that can be used to jazz up your video. So for example, if you are trying to make a fun video about Harry Potter, for example, you could get a recording packet that will have costumes that are witch related. You can also get any kind of prop that they come with. So far I've mentioned several times about TouchCast being able to help with making smart videos. So what exactly are smart videos? Well, according to Gates, a smart video is a video that viewers can interact with the content while watching. So unlike television, which is considered lean backward technology, as in the viewer can simply just sit back, they can relax and enjoy the show, and they really don't have to do anything in terms of being entertained because they can simply just watch whatever is on the screen. So the opposite of that is considered lean forward technology or lean forward engagement. So that is what a smart video is. So when you're watching the video, you're not simply just sitting there and watching as the content goes by or as the speaker is explaining something to you. You actually have all of these options that you can click on to enhance your engagement and enhance your learning. So for example, in a smart video, you may have the person speaking, so that would be me, and then in, say, the bottom left corner, you may also have a survey, which you could be taking that would help test your understanding of what I'm saying. Or there may also be a small image which you could click on so that you could look at that further while you're listening to what I'm talking about. So if I was talking about that image, you could then look at that image and then it would help correlate what I was saying to what was being shown. So here is a visible example of what a smart video would look like. As you can see, you have the presenter in the middle. You also have a chart. You have a clickable video that they can look at. You have the faces of two people who are actually watching this video live, because one of the great features about TouchCast, which we will talk about more later, is that you can make pre-recorded videos, but you can also make live streaming videos, which means that your viewers can watch you in real time as you are presenting. And then finally, we do have a short survey or poll. So as we mentioned earlier, one of the reasons that you would want to use this is because it gives you two options. You can pre-record a video, which can be very beneficial if you are making a video for students to then watch on their own time, or if you are making a video on an example of direct instruction, which you then want your colleagues to look at and assess. Or you can make a live stream video in which people who have the URL of the video, the link emailed to them, for example, they will be able to watch the video live as you are presenting it. And that'll also give them the ability to ask you questions in real time, which is very beneficial, especially if as an educator you are having students watch this video. They may want to ask you the question right then, as opposed to writing it down and forgetting to ask you later. This is also a great tool for collaborative webinars. So as we mentioned earlier in the presentation, Webinars are essentially like a seminar, so a presentation with an audience. But in this case, they would be collaborative. So if you were working with fellow educators to improve curriculum at your school site, or if you were trying to have students work in groups to create a presentation, they could actually use TouchCast Studio, and they could work with each other even if they are not in the same room, as long as they are on at the same time and they are editing, they can work on the same presentation at the same time. Another great tool is that, much like, say, a PowerPoint where you can choose the template or background or thematic colors, this also has that option. So for TouchCast Studio, some templates would include a newsroom. So if the video was intended to be a short broadcast of news or a presentation of some sort, then you could use the broadcast template and the background would actually be a broadcasting studio. Because one of the unique features of TouchCast Studio is that they have a green screen option. So when they're talking about templates or themes, they're talking about what green screen background could you have as a live presenter. So it's very similar to when they are making the news, because, for example, when they are talking about the weather, there is some kind of green screen that is behind the presenter that is showing traffic or is showing rain. And so this is really the same kind of technology that they're using in the newsroom, but now they're just applying it to videos. As we mentioned, there's also a live comment option, which you may or may not want to disable depending upon the intent of your video. So if you are making this live video and you are sharing it with all of your social media friends, it may be a little bit overwhelming if you have everybody being able to comment on it in live time. However, if you're sharing it with only a select amount of people, say you are a teacher and you are using this video to teach at home in the flipped classroom setting, then you may want students to be able to comment as a requirement to show that they are on and they are engaged, or just as a way for students to learn how to interact with the technology more. Another great feature is they actually have a teleprompter. So much like how on, say, television, if the president is making some kind of speech, there is a teleprompter where he can read off of his speech. You can use this option as well so that when you're presenting, you can see the words, but those who are watching the screen cannot. And then finally, you do have a lot of audio and visual editing options so that you can really take the video from being boring to being as entertaining as possible. So given that I really do believe in this as a great educational tool to be used in the classroom, I want to give you some of the things that I think that this could be used for in the classroom. So TouchCast would be great for all educators if they are trying to use it for any kind of meeting. So I know with my experience working in the K through 12 setting that you do constant meetings about anything from student behavior to making sure that we are following the curriculum to preparing for standardized tests. And so this can be used as a great presentation tool. It can also be used to record for a live video if for some reason somebody cannot meet the meeting so that everybody is on the same page. And this can be used by the principal or by fellow teachers depending upon who's presenting that day. It's also great for presenting to fellow educators or to parents student results, and this could be done for sending to parents if it's pre-recorded and you want to talk about just one specific student, then that would be a great way to provide immediate feedback. If you are talking to fellow educators, it's a great way to talk about discussing areas of improvement at your school site. You could be planning recruitment. You could also do co-planning of units, because this would allow everybody to be, say, in their own classrooms or at home, and they could all still be part of the live collaboration experience. You could also use this to engage parents if you are doing back to school night or parent-teacher conferences. And finally, I really think that this is the best tool to use if you're planning on doing a flipped classroom. Now, I've mentioned this before, but just in case, you don't know what that is, a flipped classroom takes the concept of having the teacher present content in class and then the student then goes home to practice with it. Instead, the teacher has the student go home and watch some kind of video where the teacher presents the content. And then the student takes notes so that when they come to school the next day, they can actually spend the entire class period doing various activities so that they can practice with the content. So this way there is less confusion when the student is at home trying to do homework involving the content. So these videos would be great for teachers to record direct instruction, and then students could watch multiple times on their own time at home. So now that we have gone over the unique features and overall benefits of using TouchCast Studio to create videos, either pre-recorded or live, I want us to revisit that essential question. So earlier in the presentation I asked you, how can we use technology to improve student engagement, collaboration, and overall critical thinking? Let's go over some of the benefits again, because I do think that these are some great skills that students will learn by using this type of application and technology. So of course they're going to learn collaborative skills if they are working on a group project. They are going to learn critical thinking and problem solving skills because depending upon the topic that they are researching, they will need to think critically about it and really edit what they are going to say. And also if there are any kind of issues in the technology that they are using, for TouchCast, they're really going to have to figure out how to problem solve. But this is relatively easy to use, and it is very friendly for, I would say, secondary school up. So it does say that it is recommended for students or users to be 13 or older because there could be some kind of crude humor or slight violent content on the TouchCast community videos. They are going to be learning how to analyze a variety of texts because I think this is great to use for the humanities classes. So if they are trying to present something to be the teachers for the day, then they are going to have to read a variety of texts and be able to cite those and use those. This does involve writing skills and editing skills because if you're going to use the teleprompter, you need to be able to write out what you're going to say and be very eloquent about it. Again, they're going to have research and presentation skills, which is very beneficial for using in the workplace, and if you are going to the university level, they do expect these things of you. You're going to learn about different perspectives, both from working with other people and looking at other sources to make your video. You are going to have digital literacy, which is going to be built, which is very important if you are educating the 21st century student because they do need to have these digital literacy skills if they're going to be successful. It does also allow for creativity and storytelling because it lets you make a video as opposed to a poster board, and you actually have the option to act these things out, which is great if you are trying to do, say, language arts or social studies. And then finally, it does teach students time management because it does take time to make these videos, and they are going to have to do the entire editing process afterwards. So they are going to have to manage their time well. And really, TouchCast really does align with some state standards. It aligns with the Framework for 21st Century Learning Standards, which has to do with digital technology, digital education. It really aligns with all K-12 state content areas because you can use this in any content area in any classroom. It aligns with Common Core and digital literacy, specifically when we're looking at English language arts literacy. It does align with several of those standards because you do need to have students be able to use this kind of technology. Finally, if you have any other questions about TouchCast, I want to make sure that you have a list of all of my references. So here are my references. Here's my slide 1. Here is my slide 2 of references. And here are the last of my references. And these references include both research on TouchCast as well as some of the images that you have seen tonight in my presentation. Thank you again for your time, and I hope that you really do consider using TouchCast in your classroom.